All right. Ian, you want to talk about the Sega Astro Mini Arcade?
Yes, I do. Because I actually think it's very, very cool.
Very cool.
So Sega, uh, we've been talking about Sega a bit lately. We were talking about how they hadn't done anything stupid in a while, and then they went and they released the
It's been a
um,
while.
that's awful. They went and released the Game Gear Micro, which I think all of us really questioned, what the point was. Some people came back at us and said, okay, in Japan, this is likely going to be a Japan only thing. And in Japan, they have an obsession with very tiny things right now. It's like
There's a micro fetish in Japan we didn't know about.
there's a trend going on right now. So, maybe it will sell over there, but still, for the amount of money that they're saying it's going to cost, it was a bad product. It was just dumb. 4 ROMs on 4 different colors, one of them being an RPG focused unit on a 1.5-inch screen.
That costs you like $50.
Yeah. But Sega announced yesterday that they are releasing a Astro City Mini. So the Astro City is what is essentially Sega's what's generally referred to as a candy cab. It's a kind of a generic arcade cabinet that people swap boards in and out of. They usually have like a 6-button setup and a joystick, and they're usually sit down. Not always. And they're releasing one, and so this is actually, to me, kind of cool. So some of the games that have been announced so far are Alien Syndrome, Alien Storm, Golden Axe, The Revenge of Death Adder, Columns 2, Dark Edge, Virtua Fighter, Fantasy Zone, and Altered Beast. What people are saying is that these are actually going to be the arcade ports, or the arcade ROMs.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. Definitely, something a little different than the usual Sega Genesis, the Sega Genesis like ROM collections or something that you would get on the Switch or the PlayStation 4. This is kind of neat because you don't often see big collections of like the arcade ROMs. Something that was announced about this that is particularly interesting to me is that it was stated that it's going to be made from the same materials that the actual Micro City or Astro City Minis were made from, and the joystick is actually going to be a micro switched joystick.
Yay, because that was the problem with the Neo Geo.
Yes, holy shit. The Neo Geo Mini, from everything I heard, was the joystick was just an analog stick. Yeah, it was it was literally an analog stick that they were treating as a digital stick.
God.
This is going to be an actual micro switch joystick, and that will make a huge difference when it comes to playing things like any of the fighting games and just giving it an overall better arcade feel. Anyone who's held like a Neo Geo Pocket would know that, like, just moving your thumb around on that pad as opposed to, say, a D-pad or another joystick, it's going to make a difference. It's going to have HDMI out. It's going to accept controllers, and it's looking to be about
$120.
$120. Wow. There'll be 36 games. Honestly, this is probably this is very appealing to me. It's cute looking, but actually functional. Unlike
how big is the screen? Do we know how big the screen is? Is it probably similar to the Neo Geo Mini, like a few inches?
I would assume, but it does not say.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't say. The final paragraph here. The Astro City Mini looks like a shrunken down arcade cabinet similar to the Neo Geo Mini. Unlike that system, though, Sega says the stick uses proper micro switches, so it should be a lot more satisfying to use. It doesn't say anything about the screen or whether it will have a built-in battery. But yeah, I think it's.
You can't. It has to. You have to be able to plug this in.
Oh yeah, yeah. But to me, this is automatically more appealing than the Neo Geo Mini. And the thing is the Neo Geo Mini had some great games on it, but one, you could get those games a million other ways, because SNK has monetized their MVS library you know, more so than just about any other company I can think of in terms of games. Like, you can get collections of those games everywhere. They're available as, you know, single purchases for like $8 through the Neo Geo Arcade archives. There's disc compilations.
Mm-hmm.
So this having, you know, Sega Arcade ROMs, if it actually does, one, like I said before, that's not something you see very often, especially in an official release. And the package that's coming in is actually usable. So yeah, I think it's a pretty cool item that they've announced.
The Neo Geo, what was that? $100 the first when it first?
I think it was about 120. I think it came out at 120.
And now you can buy it for $50 all day long on Amazon. It actually went down, I think, around Christmas or months ago. I remember seeing for like $30 being trying to be cleared out by some seller, had a bunch of them for 30. It was like, and I still didn't buy one. I still didn't want one because the joystick, it looks terrible on that. And the buttons just don't look crisp to me to use on there. I do like how it has the marquee header though on the Neo Geos. I do like that. Obviously, if you get a candy cab, you don't get that. Candy cabs don't have that. That's part of it. That's where what the speakers went up there, right? Usually, 36 games. If they're all the arcade game, if you think it's a reasonable price and it's well made, okay, $120. Okay, I wouldn't be interested in one, but if it's made well, I'd love to play it and see how well the joystick is with the micro switch.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't see how Neo Geo, how they came out with it without micro switches. I think that's the dumbest thing they could have done.
Yeah, especially when like that's the thing that people, you know, one of the things people remember is like how good that Neo Geo Pocket felt, you know, and even that used micro switches, and then they put out an arcade cabinet and they're like, yeah, screw it, we're not going to do it. I'm
just glad that Sega is making sure they have the arcade games. Nothing I hate more, because now you see them in Target for $15, $20. You see them everywhere. You see the little mini arcades like that with like the NES games in them though. Like there's a Rolling Thunder one, for God's sake, that I won't touch because it has the NES version, not the arcade version. And like the Burger Time one, there's tons of them now. So,
yes, stop advertising arcade or NES ports of games as arcade games. They're not. They're different.
No, it screws with my mind. What's that company putting those out that are at Target? Are they even $20? They're like $15.
I think it's Funko, honestly, or a division of Funko, but I could be wrong. But they were packaged just like Funko Pops.
The My Arcade series, that's what they are. Okay. They're like $20 to $30 everywhere, and they only have one game in them, too.
Yeah,
6.57 inch. Yeah, they are garbage. They have a D-pad on them, or you screw in a fucking joystick. Like why do I want an arcade looking thing with a D-pad on it? Like come on, man. What are we doing here with the products? I guess they sell though because they put out a ton of those. We're going off topic here, but yeah, there's your Dig Dug one there. There's a Dig Dug one. Oh no, it's a Bubble Bobble. There's a Bubble Bobble one. I mean, they look adorable in terms of the art, but the actual game, forget it.
Yes, they're cute, but it's all packaging.
They're around 20 to $25. I don't know how many they have for the My Arcade. Now I'm going to look real quick. And none of them are like more than one game. That's a problem. Elevator Action, Miss Arcade, Miss Pac-Man Arcade. Yeah, there's a bunch of them here. But yeah, when I saw the Rolling Thunder one, my heart just sunk. Yeah. Now, hey, Numbskull, if you're planning on doing a Rolling Thunder, I'll return you the Galaga one you so graciously gave me and trade it in for a Rolling Thunder. If you ever do a Rolling Thunder one, holy shit, I would love that. All right, because it is Namco. Anyway, all right. Anything else to add here to this? So you're on board for this Sega Astro Mini? You might get one.
I don't know that I'll necessarily buy one, but I think that if you just compare it to, you know, the Neo Geo one, you know, both at about the same price, same amount of games, this is being done way better. Yeah, I think this is a far more interesting product and something that could actually be kind of exciting as opposed to what was a very expensive novelty that I don't think anyone was going to play. And if you wanted to play those Neo Geo games, I don't think anyone was actually hooking that thing up to their, you know, TV and playing, because you can get them a million other ways. So it literally just becomes this object that you look at, and to me that's kind of pointless. This is something that looks interesting but might actually have some use to you.
That makes sense. And you said that it's made with the real materials, like the same.
That's what they're saying. They're saying they're making it with the same materials that they made the actual cabs out of. I don't know what micro switches they're going to be using, but that the
fact that it's a micro switch,
the fact that it's a micro switch at all is a step in the right direction.
And that mushy oatmeal contacts in the joystick.
Yeah,
we don't need an Atari 5200 joystick on an arcade. We don't need that. Like that doesn't work out.